Hey, this is Matt. Welcome back to the video, guys, where I want to talk about two celebrity hair transplants, which were no transplants, and I'm changing my mind. And in this video, I want to share with you why I changed my mind, what evidence that I was able to see convinced me to think otherwise. The two guys I want to talk about in this video are George Clooney and Sylvester Stallone. And if you are enjoying these regular hair transplant related updates on my channel, make sure you smash that like button right now in this very moment. Thank you very much if you want to see more of these updates coming. And before we start with this video has been brought to you by GoFiber, which are hair building fibers you can use to mask any thinning or patchy areas on your scalp to make your hair look thicker and better. So make sure you check out the link in the video description below where you can visit GoFiber, get a free sample of your choice from them and try them out. See if you like them. Hey, welcome back to the channel, everybody. Good to see you once again. If you are new and you are somebody who is interested in a hair transplant, educating yourself properly before you pull the trigger and get your hair back with a transplant, make sure you visit my website, mattdominance.com, where you can inform yourself more about how to do it properly, how to do it the right way, how to get on treatments first before you even consider hair transplant, because all these things can make you a better candidate first, and then you can get your hair transplant. So again, more about that on my website, but also subscribe to my channel and hit that notification bell, because I'm also regularly updating my viewers with these topics and how to do the best decision, which clinic to choose and stuff like that. So make sure you subscribe. And now let's talk about George Clooney and Sylvester Stallone. All right, guys, starting out with George Clooney and debunking his hair transplant rumors, because now I'm pretty certain that it was not a hair transplant, and I'm gonna be sharing with you why right now. This is the photo from between 1995 to 2000. He was between his mid-30s to 40 years of age, and he was playing at this TV series ER. He was playing a doctor, and we can see this photo where he obviously doesn't look like he has a perfect hairline anymore. He looks like a Norwood too. And now if you see his photo from 2020, you see George has better hairline. How is it possible? He must have had something done on the hairline. However, I also found this photo, which is the same. It's just a different angle. Even the lady behind in the same photo is there, you know? So it's like just different shot from the right side here. And it doesn't look so bad anymore, right? It doesn't look so bad. He just turned his head a little bit. This makes me feel like this photo is actually quite deceiving, and it's kind of inconsistent with all the photos from, you know, this time when he was playing a doctor. I mean, everywhere we check, his hairline just looks Norwood 1. It just looks very full. It just looks straight. No signs of hair loss whatsoever, okay? So there is only this one photo which is very inconsistent with everything we have seen of George Clooney between 1995 and 2000 playing at this TV series. So why the hell would his hairline look like this? In my opinion, what also might have been the case if he cut his hair very short here on the corners and let the front grow just a little bit. The hair here is a bit shorter, maybe half a centimeter or centimeter shorter here compared to the front. It makes it look as if he had this widow's peak at the front and the corners are receding. So this is my assumption. This is something that I think was the case, because again, if we just compare this left perspective with the right perspective here, it doesn't look so bad. The right shot doesn't make him look so receding, or his hairline looks so receding anymore, okay? So that would be the first thing. And again, by looking at other photos from the same era, I cannot see any recession whatsoever. And also, if we check some interviews of him from the same era, we see him with a very full head of hair, no signs of recession whatsoever. And these are, by the way, all videos from 1995 to 1999. And no, there is no signs of transitioning to Norwood 2 whatsoever. And this is, by the way, also 1998. Again, are coming from the same era when this receding hairline shot was created. And yeah, this is another photo, by the way, guys, which also kind of makes it look like he's receding, but yeah, this is probably another of these bad shots that makes his hairline look worse than it is. And yeah, there are plenty of such comparisons online which make it look like this guy got a hair transplant, but in my opinion he didn't. And why he didn't, guys, this is the final confirmation, in my opinion, which is quite strong of a confirmation. This is George Clooney Clooney playing in his own movie A Midnight Sky from 2020. So here we can see his donor doesn't show any signs of FUE or FUT. I wish it could be even shorter on sides and back, but we can already see that there are no signs of you know, extraction or harvesting via FUE or strip. Here are just some screenshots from that movie, and we can see that his frontal hairline seems to right now look like it's diffusely thinning, especially from some angles. I mean, from one angle it looks fuller, and here it doesn't look so full, at least to me, but it's also not that sharp. So if this would have been a hair transplant that he got before, then he would have been left with very like pretty dense looking hair over here, and the rest would have been like thinning behind it here, right? And it's not the case. It just looks like a very natural recession, which is also very slow. He's like 60 years old in this photo, or in the screenshots from the movie, and actually I would think that this is actually even like diffusely thinning slightly compared to like him being like 50, like 10 years ago. So this is a natural like diffuse hair loss which starts at the hairline and gradually goes. And what I want to say that if he had a hair transplant in the past, we would be able to see some type of like unnatural, maybe dense looking front, and here the corners and the areas behind would actually look less dense, which is not the case with him. If you watch the movie, if you watch some videos, short clips from that movie, you will see that his head is like uniformly buzzed, and it just looks pretty full actually. So looking at that hairline, it doesn't look like a transplanted hairline. Especially you can tell it when somebody buzzes the scalp. You know, if it was a hair transplant, if you're somebody who knows how a transplanted hairline looks like, you will detect it. Obviously, normal people will not be able to detect it if a transplant had been done naturally and the patient buzzes his head after that. But guys who understand this, like how this surgery works, you guys watching my channel would be able to detect it. But we cannot, and really his hairline looks very soft, and it's just naturally like diffusely thinning on some areas more, on some areas less. So this would be my final confirmation why I think that George Clooney in fact did not have a hair transplant. Alright, the second celebrity hair transplant which I was covering before on my channel, which probably is not hair transplant as I'm gonna be sharing with you right now, is gonna be Sylvester Stallone's hairline transformation. And this is him in 1997. He's 50 years old or 51 years old in his interview. And we can see that his hairline is actually not that bad looking for a guy in his early 50s. It would be something like a Norwood 3. 1998 and 1999 were probably the years when he has done something to his hairline, because if we take a look at him from the movie Get Carter 2000, we see him with lower hairline already. His forehead size is reduced, and you can see it clearly. And I'm already saying reduced because the procedure type that he has likely done, in my opinion, prior to his potential hair transplant, maybe later in early 2000s, or maybe even, you know, over the last 20 years. Before that, I think he started with a forehead reduction. It's a surgical procedure, it's a cosmetic type of procedure, which is still being offered nowadays for women, men with abnormally large foreheads. As we can see, for example, here, these are two examples. Above you can see female, and below you can see a male patient. And one very interesting thing you can see in both cases is this white scar, which you know, some patients will be probably more prone to developing such a visible scar or hypopigmentation than other patients. And we can see it in Sylvester Stallone's case as well, especially when you see him, and this guy gets very dark, you know, very tanned in summer. He has a really good pigment for like getting tanned, and we can see that white line on many photos of him when his skin is darker or has a darker tone. However, when his skin is whiter, and especially now with his gray or almost white hair, when he's in his 70s, you don't really spot that scar. It's not that visible. However, when he was younger, definitely we can always see that white scar, and I was always aware of it, and I didn't know, like, what is this weird thing, you know? Is it a hair system? And you know, for it to be a hair system, I think the hairline, it will be already like uncovered by one or the other paparazzi, as it was the case with John Travolta. I mean, if you type John Travolta hair system, we'll see like so many versions of hair systems that John Travolta was rocking, and it's pretty much obvious that it's a hair system, you know, like they zoom in on it like this, and they find out that it's a hair system. However, over the last 20 years, they were not able to detect it by Sylvester Stallone, you know. So from that, like, look, like they break it down and they realize that it's a hair piece. And by Sylvester Stallone, his hairline was very, very consistent. The positioning of his hairline, the density of the hair on the hairline was very consistent for the last 20 years, and that's why I thought that it was a hair transplant, because if it had been a hair system, I think we would have you know, been able to find some inconsistencies, and that's why it was likely a surgical procedure called forehead reduction, which again can cause scarring even by patients with pale skin. As we can see, many patients are also like posting their results online, and if you check some results, you see that even patients with pale skin can develop scarring after forehead reduction, even permanent scarring, which then will need to be camouflaged by potentially placing some grafts into the scar via follicular unit extraction and then camouflaging it that way. So that's something which they can consider. But back to Sylvester Stallone, interesting thing about this procedure is that it's not going to stop your hair loss. It's not going to make you hair loss resistant if you are prone to hair loss like Sylvester Stallone was. So, and when they do that forehead reduction, they will pretty much just remove that excess skin, which is like creating that high forehead, or in case when patient like recede it, they will remove that skin and they will kind of move that skin where there is hair on top, and they will pretty much stretch it all over that area, which is creating that high forehead, and they will create a suture lower. And in my opinion, it's a question of time when that hair also starts receding, because if you just like, let's say your skin is very flexible and you can theoretically pull all that hair which is still growing on the mid-scalp over the balding frontal third and just create a very low hairline that way, it's just a question of time when that hair also starts miniaturizing on that you know, new hairline that you got as a result of that forehead reduction. And that's why I think Sylvester Stallone must have been also on treatments or medication for all of these years, because also now in his 70s we still see the same hairline design more or less. And that's why what happened over the years, I think he got some hair transplanted in the frontal third, probably multiple smaller surgeries in my opinion, because otherwise his hair wouldn't look so full still 20 years later. So I think it's a combination of forehead reduction, combination of multiple small hair transplants, and what he's doing, as you can see in this video, he's now in his he's 75 right now. He's combing that hair backwards and he's slicking it back, and he's pretty bald on the crown area. It looks like he's like a Norwood 6 at least. At least that's how I see it from this angle. And I'm sure many of you guys will be thinking that it's a hair system, and I'm not arguing with that. I'm just saying that it is not a hair transplant, especially with the hairline, because it's too dense and it looks very similar today, even from this video, which you can see here. It's 2021 and it's looking the same as it looked like 20 years ago, and it's very unlikely. And we still see the white scar, right? So I don't know, maybe it's a system, but I think It might be a combination of a hair system as well by this time. If this would have been a system or a hair unit, you know, why wouldn't he just cover everything, also the crown? Why would the crown be balding, especially during the set, during filming, as he was, you know, showing us the scene in this video. We can also check this video. I mean, it's looking pretty thick and dense at the front, so yeah, I understand why many of you guys might be thinking it's a system. Like, I don't know if you guys can see it, but I certainly believe that if he wouldn't comb that hair over, like the long hair from the front, like I'm doing pretty much, this area would have looked much more bald, and also that here and also this here, right? We can see how this is just looking very light. I don't know if he has done some scalp micropigmentation as well, I don't know, but I certainly think how he's like slicking that hair back, the long hair from the front, which might as well be his native hair, you know, as a result of that forehead reduction, and he's kind of combing it over and in reality he's already like Norwood 6 with this type of thinning. Might as well be the case, but here it's obviously very well camouflaged. He also must have done a hair transplant in that region, because I think if he only had done that forehead reduction 20 years ago in 1998 or so, it wouldn't look so good today, 20 years later, because that hair is still prone to miniaturization, and just staying on finasteride for 20 years wouldn't help him to keep that hair so thick. So I think he must have done one or multiple hair transplants over the years to add it into the frontal third, because otherwise his hair wouldn't look so full still in this age, you know, 20 years later. So this would be my final verdict on Sylvester Stallone. That was it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. For all of you guys who are interested in a hair transplant, you are maybe researching some clinics, you are somewhere in the beginning or already in the middle stage of the hair transplant research, maybe evaluating different clinics, getting different quotes and offers, and you are comparing, this clinic uses this technique, this clinic that technique, and you don't know who to trust, you know, and you want some guidance. You want somebody not only who has walked that path like myself, but also somebody like me who is helping other guys with these same issues, because that's exactly what I've been doing over the last 3 years. I've been assisting guys throughout their hair transplant research to make a better decision, to make this research more rationally, not very impulsively and emotionally, and take some time, evaluate it, get a second opinion. That's exactly what you can do on a one-on-one call with me, and save yourself obviously time, hundreds of hours researching, and potentially end up with a bad clinic, or, you know, having a result which you will not like entirely. So you can consult it with me. It's possible on mattdominance.com/mentoring, where we can get on a one-on-one session. I'm going to be happy to help you out. It's very exciting. I'm working with many guys on a weekly basis like that. That's also the reason why I'm not posting regularly sometimes. Sorry for that, because there are just many guys that I love helping, and especially now in October, November, December, many guys want to get a hair transplant, and it's a big, you know, pressure also on you know, getting it done during Christmas time, because everybody, you know, has holidays and he wants to chill at home while his transplanted head is recovering. So that's why it's a little bit more right now, but that's fine. I'm still free. If you want to book a call with me, it's gonna be possible. I'm gonna get back to you normally within 24 to 48 hours. Schedule a call during the time when it's suitable for both of us and help you out. All right, so that was it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, check out our free Facebook group as well, Hair Transplant Experiences, with over 3,600 members in the group. And if you want to inform yourself for free on my website, grab my free ebook, 5 Things I Wished I Had Known Before My Hair Transplant. Okay, if you're a beginner, if you don't know where to start, that's the right place for you to go right now. Okay, so that was it from me for this video, and see you next time.